Welcome to our series, Exploring Esoteric Secret Societies. Through this series, we'll examine and challenge our current mindsets and understanding of esoteric teachings, and take an opportunity to do a deep dive into the importance to explore and review ancient knowledge and wisdom. The traditions of all mystery schools throughout time have been held together by a common thread, a common order of the wisdom knowledge keepers, known from our current post-Atlantean epoch as the Rosicrucian order. Now, even today, their knowledge is practiced by initiates with various organizations, such as the Masons, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and modern-day members of the Rosicrucian order. The Rosicrucian order is a philosophical and educational organization, not a religion. The Rosicrucians are mystics of enlightenment. They were a legendary and historical secret society that emerged in the 17th century Europe, claiming to possess esoteric wisdom and the power to reform religion, science, and the arts. Their origins are centuries old. While their existence is debated, the Rosicrucian movement had a significant impact on intellectual occult thought. They believe in secret wisdom traditionally passed down through ancient times that can transform humanity. By revealing hidden knowledge about the universe, the spiritual realm, and the natural world, they combine elements of occultism, Hermeticism, Jewish mysticism, and Christian Gnosticism. Key beliefs include the importance of spiritual advancement, selfless service, and the study of natural laws to live in harmony with them. Centuries ago, they were actually alchemists who used alchemy as an allegory for refining their qualities for the more dense to the more refined. In themselves, it's about personal transformation. Their core beliefs and practices begin with spiritual enlightenment, the pursuit of divine knowledge through transformation and mystical experiences. Alchemy as a metaphor, not just turning lead into gold, but refining the soul, transmuting ignorance into wisdom. Unity of science and spirit, they champion the harmony between scientific inquiry and spiritual insight, a concept that resonates deeply with modern holistic approaches. They also believed in universal brotherhood, emphasized compassion, interconnectedness, and service to humanity. Geometric light codes and symbols, as well as sound and light through the mystical semiotics. How does this influence modern spirituality? Rosicrucianism has profoundly shaped contemporary spiritual movements. It's through New Age philosophies, holistic healing, and even quantum spirituality. The Rosicrucians' view of the universe as a web of vibrational energies aligns with modern ideas about consciousness and the interconnectedness of all life. In a world increasingly hungry for meaning beyond materialism, Rosicrucians' ideals offer a timeless path, one of inner alchemy, cosmic harmony, and the sacred quest for truth. Welcome everyone to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway. Hey, good to have you all here. We're continuing our series Exploring Esoteric Secret Societies, Part 4. So love having you here, Nick. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, sure.
Like to say, are you excited, Nick?
Oh, yeah. I'm like Path 4, so it doesn't show, but I do have a lot of fun with this.
Awesome. Well, thoroughly enjoying it. So Hope you
I
all
love your
are.
background talk.
Yeah, very cool. Want to go ahead and just greet everyone in chat real quick, kind of welcome everybody in. Come on in. You know, it's time to feed your brain and grow this big old heart of yours and learn more about ascension, spirituality, the Rosicrucians, all the good stuff. Lucky Stone, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Always a pleasure to see you. Elizabeth Power, good to see you as well. Hope you and your sister are doing well. I heard you moved. I hope everything is going well in your new place. So wonderful for you. Hey, Steve Bow, good to see you as well. Hello, hello. Let's see who else we got. I think people are still. Oh, Elderberry, good to see you as well as always. Howdy, howdy. And I think that's about it for now. There's 9 of us watching, or 9 of you guys watching. So tonight we're gonna start with a little something from Brian. Brian's got something he wants to talk about what's going on in the skies. Just to let you guys know, I wanted to show you this last week, but I didn't have a chance to. And we were just talking about this prior to the show. But in August, we have this a spectacular planet parade featuring the 6 planets aligning with the sunrise, just before the sunrise. So 45 minutes before this, and I think it was on August 20th, I got up 45 minutes out of a sound sleep, went to the window, looked out the window, and literally took this picture. So this is the Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune that's visible in that line across the eastern sky. And it really was captivating. It was quite the sight to see. So I wanted to share that with you real quick and just show you that was kind of neat. But Brian, you're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the skies.
Yep. Today, September 5th, Uranus went retrograde back into the Pleiades. Mm-hmm. So if you look back in history, Uranus comes around into the Pleiades about every 84 to 86 years. So if you go back in history, you'll see that we've had wars then. Not saying that there's going to be a war now, but you have World War II, Civil War, Revolutionary War. And then I think if you keep going back, you'll see that everything's happened around the world. And it's about big changes in the world. And you look at the changes in World War II, you stopped the genocide. We stopped the genocide of the Jews. Back to Civil War, we basically ended slavery. The Revolutionary War, we were the first colony to gain our independence. So there was big changes at those times, but the changes weren't bad, even though the war was bad. The result of the war, the changes were good. So now that it is going in retrograde back into Pleiades, it's time to retrace, rethink, and time for revelations. So basically, it could be time for you to retrace how you got to this spiritual level and rethink about everything that you possibly learned earlier when you first started this ascension process. And if you start doing that, there's going to be more revelations that are going to come to you as your spirit grows. So coming up September 7th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse. So basically Earth is going to be between the sun and the moon. So you're having the masculine and feminine energy both coming to you. Mm-hmm. Then on the 21st, you have a partial solar eclipse, which that is the sun, Earth, and the moon aligning again. So now you're having that direct energy of both the masculine and feminine coming from the sun and moon. And then the day after the 21st is the solstice, which I always tell everybody it's about balance. So I'm thinking what it's saying with the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, this is the perfect time to really balance your masculine and feminine, because you're going to have strong energies of both coming at you. So it's going to be really important to find that balance between the two.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or
So
the
they're
merging of those energies between
mm-hmm.
your
Yeah.
own. Sorry.
And they're
No,
merging
you're good.
within yourself. So you got to look. And also, the full moon happens in the first quarter. The solar eclipse happens in the last quarter, and you have 14 days in between. So if you reduce all them, they all come to 5. So, and then you have the change of Uranus in the Pleiades. So there's a lot of big changes coming for us. And I think they're all going to be positive, because there's not going to be a war. I think it's more about the consciousness, how the consciousness of people all around the world is changing, because they're becoming more awakened to what is really going on in the world and how the world is being run. So you have all these 5s, and 5s are about changes. So there's a lot of changes coming up, but all these changes, I do believe, are going to be for the positive, not only for us, but for all of humanity.
Yeah, and I think too that in a sense, it's interesting that you say the every 84 years how you have that major change. But what I'm kind of seeing is there's a lot of changes in relationships. There's a lot of people who are probably getting divorced or connecting for the first time, or there's just so much involved. But yeah, you're right, and I believe it has a lot to do with how the planets are, and the sun, the moon, all that is factored into our, it's such a big part of our lives, and the energy that it brings, it's the same deal. So
Now, so we're going to
that's
be
fascinating.
we're going to be getting hit with a lot of energy this month because of all of this. So just be prepared and know that it's for your highest and best interest. Just accept these energies that are coming in, because this will help you get the balance that you need.
Go with the flow.
Yep.
And be sure to ground yourself too. That's always really
Yes.
good. I know for me, I love to put my feet on the grass, walk around on the grass, get your feet to the earth, especially when we're wearing shoes. There's a lot of rubber, and that kind of like it doesn't really help with the grounding. It kind of has that buffer between your feet and the ground, and picking up on the energy. So yeah, run around, walk around on the ground, in the grass. Yeah, Teresa.
What I'm getting on it too is it's a very important time to evaluate your choices as to what you want to bring into your reality and what you don't. And that's always the case every day, but more so when the energy is starting to pull inward, with that masculine and feminine coming in to balance things out. But you don't have to repeat the cycles of old. You've spent all this time and all this years so far in these transformations. There's been a lot of astronomical activity, a lot of alignments, a lot of gateways. So everybody, it seems to me, has been going through some major self-transformation. And so now you're at a cusp when humanity has to decide as a collective. I mean, you've done all the inner work, a lot of you have. So now society has to catch up with us all, right?
Yeah,
So,
a lot of cocooning.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the retrograde is all about: the rethinking, the refocusing, re-examining everything that's led up to this point.
Yeah. Take it slow. Don't rush into anything. Make a wise choice, a mindful choice, a divine mind choice about how you're going to respond and react to these situations, events, and circumstances, so that we don't repeat or have a recapitulation of those things. We're smart enough now.
Yeah, change
We've
it up.
all been through so many. Change it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't do the same old, same old. Do something different. Change your routines. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Consider changing your routine. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Brian, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Very cool. I like that.
Thank you.
Well, Nick, the floor is yours, so to speak. Let me get this together.
Okay, today we will be talking about part 9 and part 10.
Okay.
All right, so let's start out with part 9, which is the sevenfold soul of man. Seventh Aphorism states, the soul of man is sevenfold, yet but one in essence. Man's spiritual unfoldment has as its end the discovery of himself beneath the sevenfold veil. So the Rosicrucian is now directed to apply his attention to the concept of the sevenfold soul. This represents the 7 veils of man that is dormant, but will reveal the true self of the individual in due time. This part will make more sense to people who studied last week's episode as it coincides with the lesson. So as I've said prior, if you want to chill with us in the live, you feel free to, but really make sure you start from part 1 to now. Otherwise, you'll have a lot of pieces missing.
And that's posted in the playlist for you folks. So.
Yeah.
All right.
So the sevenfold. This symbol represents the human soul evolving from the elements all the way to the godhood planes, as was mentioned last week.
Mm-hmm.
These veils hide the real self, but throughout time it reveals the truth of spirits as it unravels. So in the picture you can see, it's kind of hard to see, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 outer lines, and then the human body being the 7th.
Kind of looks like the aura, huh?
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
Mm-hmm.
I dive into that deeper. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah. So first we're going to talk about the layer of the elemental soul. So remember that everything in this cosmic egg is one soul. However, this veil of the one soul is simply the original ancestor of all matter, this veil being the elemental part. This layer is what is used as building blocks for any shape all living things take form. People mistake this veil as concepts like ghosts, wraiths, doppelgangers, etc., but this is not the case. This part of the body is a shell once the host passes away. It is in essence just the elements holding its form until it eventually disintegrates back into wanton energy to form something else once again. Rosicrucian teachings claim this is not the astral body, and it is almost lifeless. It has no conscience or intelligence. It is simply energy and memory holding on to the vibrational form of the human it used to be a part of. So basically what they're saying is when someone dies, and you see the aspirations of them, that's not really them. That is,
it's just the empty shell. Like when you crack an egg open,
Mm-hmm.
the essence of the egg is gone, and what you have left is an empty shell. It's just the minerals, the calcium, the deposits of the matter.
yes. So when you see a ghost, don't get attached to it that deeply, because more times than not, it's not actually who you think it is. It's just a piece of the clothing that they shed, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's like our meat suit floating around.
Yeah, it's like the outer layer, like how Lori said, like the outer shell of an egg. So that's how they interpret it.
Mm-hmm. Or like wearing a suit of clothes. Your clothes wear out. You take them off and you put new clothes on.
Yeah.
It's the vehicle for the spirit, or the spirit and the consciousness to learn and grow in.
Yeah.
It's just a vehicle.
Reminds me of the hermit crab, always looking for the next shell.
Yeah. Because it keeps
into.
expanding, it needs a bigger one. Yeah.
In regards to this, I'm pretty sure this is them explaining the subplanes of the human plane.
Got it.
Put into perspective how we talked about the planes in previous videos.
Mm-hmm.
They just deep dive into the human one specifically.
Yeah.
So after you get through the elemental plane, you go into the mineral soul. So this goes into the mineral and chemical substances of which the body is composed of. When you cremate a body, this part is left afterwards. Everything evolves with the help of carbon, showing how important this aspect is for life. Once the mineral soul starts decomposing, it is then recycled to nurture the next life. This is just a complicated way of them explaining how a balanced food chain works. However, remember, it is part of the sevenfold soul. Thus, it's an important fundamental on being human.
So you just become fertilizer?
Yeah, basically. that part of it, anyways, that layer of self. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Reincorporated into the earth.
Right. Yeah.
From whence it came.
You know, we've gotten so far away from this kind of understanding and wisdom. Institutionalized laws and regulations about spreading ashes. People, it's just all the same material we were created from in the first place. How many contaminants do you think one body would have that you wouldn't be able to spread the ashes? And they just want like $350. They want you to go through these funerals where you gotta spend millions, hundreds of thousands of dollars, when all you need to do is take the cremated ashes and let them blow in the wind. They're not going to hurt anything. But that's how far away we've gotten from understanding how connected we really are with nature and how natural we are. It just triggered me there for a second, because it's like these are the building blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of when older people in my family would always tell me that when you're dumping coals, to don't throw it in the grass because it'll kill it. I recently learned, because I like studying plants and like working with them.
Mm-hmm.
I recently learned that coal is actually beneficial. It can actually help them grow. So when I found that, I was like, well, they don't know what to talk about.
As long as they're not hot coals, you'll be all right.
Right. Yeah, but like the ashes that are left over, you can use that for fertilizer. Like part of the
looks a lot like cremation when it's all said and done.
Exactly.
It's
same stuff.
It looks the same to me as it's all carbon.
Yep.
And coal is compressed carbon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's simple.
Interesting.
And they all overcomplicate it to hide it.
Yeah. And to make money. Remember, it's all about making money.
That's true.
What they can get from you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the next layer is the plant soul. Rosicrucian teachings say the human body has a lot of similarities to plants in nature. Body growth and organs being some examples. Apparently, transplants and how it works is also very similar to what you can do with plants. Plants is where instinct starts manifesting. Hence how everything at and above that plane has instinct, showing the third layer of the human sevenfold soul. So I thought this was interesting because like I've actually like done this with plants before, where like if I want to grow a new one, I'll take a piece off and then either I'll make it its own plant or I'll attach it to another plant for it to grow like a transplant. So it was interesting that they brought this up, because then I looked into a little bit on transplants, and it turns out like with kidneys, for example, they don't take out the old kidney. Instead they will reattach the new kidney somewhere else along the track. So, and then they'll just keep it there. So you'll technically have 3 kidneys.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that
was about grafting, right? Grafting.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting that we have that correlation.
I kind of wanted to say something about the plant thing. So my mom has this plant. It's a Christmas cactus, and it's in the corner where the light comes in every morning. And every morning I get up, I go to it, and I just rub my hands together and I send it all kinds of love, and I just kind of go around it like this. And then what I understood is I can actually absorb the plant's energy and pull their energy into my my consciousness, and kind of feeds off of it. And let me tell you, this plant is so healthy and so big. Every morning, I love you so much. Oh, you look beautiful today. Look how big you are. Oh, you're so nice and green. Oh, let me let the sun in on for you. There you go. You know, I just baby it, and that thing is just like flourishing.
Yep.
So I just wanted to share that, because
have you ever
that's
seen
the kind of stuff I do.
Yeah. Have you ever seen
Hope
the videos?
Nobody's looking. Hey.
Have you ever seen the videos of people putting up devices on like attaching these sound devices on plants, and then like they literally like
play music
how they're talking? It sounds like music, but it's just their way of communicating. I think it's interesting.
Hello, beautiful. That's what I tell it every morning. Yeah,
it's cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the plant layer is where instinct kicks in, essentially. is what they're explaining on that part, where like the need for survival and the start of awareness starts coming again. So once you get into that, out of that layer, the next layer is the animal soul. So this stage is where we start getting an animating spirit, or what they call a vital spirit. Consciousness develops here, but basic needs remain. Animalistic desires originate in this soul, often seen in those who lack self-discipline. Hence why people who lack the discipline to master it, or even decide to master it but embrace it, are often compared to them. Like, you're like, Nick, you're acting like a dog. Yeah, that kind of thing, like a phrase like that. Yeah. Lower end focuses on reproduction and nourishment, while the higher end of the animal soul desires companionship and camaraderie. The key difference between us and them is the I am concept of self-conscious, as we went over last week. Nowadays, many are foolish to indulge way too much into this part of the soul, which is why they will devolve back into an animal once their time is up, since they want to act like one.
It'd be 2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
Yeah,
We don't go back.
Yeah, make sure that's not you. All right.
Yes.
You being here makes me believe that you don't want to be that. So,
So
make sure you put in.
that's not saying that you couldn't, if you wanted to. You could.
Yeah, you could.
You could, but that's not really expanding your soul or your consciousness.
Yeah, exactly. The goal, you're going through all this suffering to level up in the first place. Why would you devolve just to do that all over again?
Yeah.
So,
yep.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, this answers the question I asked last week. Why would a person reincarnate back into a form that it's already been?
Oh, yeah. I go in this a little bit during the metempsychosis bit. But yeah. There's reasons why people get stuck, and we'll go over that in a little later on in the show. So then the next layer is the human soul. So the self-conscious, voluntary choice, and intellectual reasoning starts manifesting here. We went into depth on this last chapter, so the book and I will keep this part short, which the book totally lies. They don't keep it short. They list a whole bunch of examples. I was just like, okay, this is neat and all, but I'm gonna skip this. Let them read it later. Like this, like for time's sake, I'll be on it all day.
Optimize it.
Yeah. So the book starts quoting writers on how they express the self-conscious compared to animals. The struggle of man is blatantly shown, with the animal side trying to pull him down, while the demigod side does its best to uplift it. The way I see it, this is the whole symbolism behind the devil and God fighting for souls. The devil representing the animalistic side, or the lower end, while God representing the higher demigod end. This is why so many here are stuck spiritually. If you are a human doing inhumane things, you will get to do this all over again, as many times as it takes. In layman's terms, the suffering will continue until you make the conscious choice of not being a POS and decide to improve upon yourself respectively. Sometimes you just gotta say it how it is.
Well said. Right out there with it, Nick.
Right. Yeah, I gotta put my Sagittarius bluntness on it now and then.
Yeah.
And then the next layer being the demigod soul. This conscious is the realization of being part of the all, that cosmic consciousness that we're talking about, rather than the self-conscious of feeling apart. This is where things like empathy and urge of unity comes from. So yes, when someone's expressing empathy, they are actually tapping into the demigod plane state. Hence why some humans lack it, because they haven't tapped into it yet. This plane can still suffer from the world pain until it develops further. And eventually the pain will be felt through everyone so strongly within the race that it will stop altogether, forced to find remedies to the discourse and proceeding with evolution. Which, from what Brian was kind of talking about with the whole change thing, like it's been happening. I feel like way more people than what it used to be are more empathetic towards all the struggles and strifes that are happening throughout the world, even if it's not happening in their own country. Huge improvement, in my opinion.
Yeah, I see it like at the grocery store or being in public. People are way more patient. They're kind. They're saying
Yep.
hello. They're getting the door for people. I've noticed that the last couple times I was at the
Mhm.
store. Just strangers, like, talking
More
like they've
more-
known each other forever,
Mhm.
which they probably have
Yeah.
on some level.
Yep.
But yeah, you see it in society. It is changing, and I'm happy that it is. Yeah.
Yep. Same.
Love your graphic, Nick. Love
I
your
know. I
Mhm.
thought it was a good one.
That's cute.
Ta-da!
So here are some
You know,
common. Here are some. You want to go ahead, Teresa?
I'm sorry. Yeah, with those that don't practice emphatic listening skills, I think a lot of that. You're seeing more people saying, "I've had enough of this. I just want to be nice. I'm tired of being grumpy." And so that's a lot of what's going on. Is we've had enough of this isolation during COVID, and then we came out of that, came into a fear of the unknown. Now we're dealing with the consequences of all of that the best way we can. They went into like survival mode. They came back out acting animalistic, hoarding,
Oh,
But
yeah,
then there
toilet
was a
paper thing.
side of everyone who said, hey, we're all in this boat together, so we got to help each other as best we can. That evolved into more caring about other people's feelings. And then you ended up with them paying more attention and being more helpful to one another. But I think with those that are still feeling disconnected within their own selves, they don't have the empathy because they don't know how to practice, how to listen, how to really listen to understand someone else. And so they listen, and before you get 4 sentences out of your mouth, they've already made up their mind, judged you, came into their own opinion, and all of a sudden they're off on a tangent that has nothing to do with what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And they end up in psychoanalysis or psychotherapy or counseling with their partners or whoever. And the counselor will sit there and say, repeat back to me what you just heard her say. Or repeat back to me what you just thought you heard him say. And they're like, 2 ships passing in the night because nobody's really tuning in to listen because they don't tune into their own selves to listen to what their soul is telling them. And so how do they transition out of that into the demigod layer? So they're kind of trapped, aren't they? Through their own self-imposed inability or unwillingness to listen or understand where another person's coming from.
Yeah, but the cool part is they will eventually get that eureka moment.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. Some people are just slower than others.
You have an infinite opportunity for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here are some common demigod features. So first one being a conviction of actual being and immortality, all fear being removed, faith in the unknown, universal love. Yes, this includes everything you currently despise, removing self-righteousness, condemnation, bliss and joy being a constant state of being rather than a fleeting emotion, a feeling of exalted knowledge and wisdom, which I personally hope everyone's been feeling that with these episodes. If they are, that means I'm doing something right. Any human who has took time to actually work on themselves has experienced at least one of these in their life. This is the proof of the ascension process.
I want to go back real quick to the fear being removed. How many of us live in fear? So when I was going through my ascension process, I realized that fear was just lying to me. It's a liar. There's no truth in fear. Fear is like the expectation that something's going to happen. And 9 times out of 10, when you worry about something, it doesn't happen. So I quickly learned how to not be afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm not afraid of not having enough food. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm not afraid of anything coming at me. I just have removed the fear of fear, and I'm like seeing it for what it really is. And a lot of people react and live from a sense of fear. Oh, if I don't do this, this will happen. Or, oh, if they don't do that, that's going to happen. And it's interesting because you'll see people reacting to fear And when you've removed yourself from it and you're just kind of numb to it anymore,
Mhm.
you're like, oh, that's fear. They're experiencing fear or anger or disgust or whatever. It's just an emotion that they're feeling at the time. So you become kind of detached from it, and you realize that the power, you give fear the power that it has over you. If you take that power away, then fear can't even like touch you. It can't affect
Mhm.
you. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
And sometimes communicating that to other people is important
Mm-hmm.
because they try to draw you in. And if you're on a project with
If you
somebody
don't
or
do
you're
this will happen. Blah, blah, blah. Well, that hasn't happened yet.
right,
So that's just fear.
why
That's,
are you going there?
yeah. Why are we even talking about it?
And sometimes you can't if you're working on a project at work.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're with a group of people and you have a common purpose and you can't just walk away sometimes.
Right.
I mean, you can, but I mean, you'd lose your job. You know?
I did. I walked away.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
just understand what fear really is and know that you have control over your fears. You just
Mhm.
don't let them affect you. And that's the thing. And I think that's really hard for people you have to, like, in your own mind, really understand how it works, and that you don't have to make that conscious decision to fall into the fear factor is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Well, some
Yeah,
people don't realize it's fear.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think it's intelligence. They're being intelligent, or their way they're responding.
Oh, come on, let's just be realistic about it. Yeah. Yeah, I get that too.
Or sometimes they're just stepping in and trying to take responsibility, or
Mm-hmm.
they might be the administrative type who needs to plan things out. And so they don't see their reaction as a fear-based reaction.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they would talk about themselves very much the way you just did. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm very secure. And then you come to find out, or I have, at least in my case, come to find out, oh my gosh, it's not that it's a form of anxiety that's a fearful form of anxiety that I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing all these things in response to it. So it's still there. And that's
Mm-hmm.
a type of fear that I wasn't aware of existed within me.
Face the fear, and the fear will go away. It
Goes
dissolves.
away.
Turn
And
around and face it head on. No matter what it is, you'll get
Yeah.
through it. You'll find a solution. But don't let fear debilitate you from doing something. Take the fear factor away.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's something you got to practice. You're not just going to have it.
It doesn't just, it takes practice. It surely does.
Because fear is a common human emotion that
Absolutely.
everyone's going to experience a little
Here's
bit,
a
at least.
really simple example of the difference between demigod and someone who's still in that other layer. And that is, you wake up. Lori said the funniest thing to me the other day. It was hilarious. I was so put out because these people, I get this phone call that wakes me up out of a sound sleep. I've got my alarm set and I think I'm ready I've got like 3 hours before these people come. So I've got plenty of time to do what I need to do in the morning. So I set my alarm and I'm sound asleep. And 8:00 in the morning, I get this phone call that the people want to show up like within 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I'm like, what? They're not supposed to be here till 11. And I was like, dagnabbit. I'm like, what do you expect me to do? Fly down a fireman's pole and jump in a fire suit, run out the door if they haven't even had any coffee? I'm partially disabled. I need time to wake up in the morning. What's wrong with these people? You tell them to take a hike. You tell them to come back another time. This is inconvenient for me. I'm not going to be pushed around like this in my own house. That's not what I was going off about.
I was like, oh boy.
And I was telling her, like an hour later, I'm sitting in my car right now because I just got woken up and I had to vacate my house. Blah, blah, blah. And at one point in our conversation later on, she says, well, that's right. What I could have said to you at the time was, yeah, Teresa, these people stayed up all night long just plotting how they were going to get you in the morning. And and they woke up saying, let's go nail her. Let's go make her life miserable, because they've got nothing better to do with their lives than to deliberately adjust their schedule just to get you out of bed to piss you. That is a demigod, because what she was able to do in that moment, in that teaching moment, what she was able to do, even though I wasn't ready to hear some of it, but later on she was explaining it to me. I wasn't laughing at the time. I thought, doesn't anything affect you, Lori? I mean, you would like that. Okay, so you like getting wakened up at 8 o'clock in the morning and told you have to put your pants on and run out the front door when it's not even a family emergency. That's okay with you, right? It's not okay with me. So I was like, rah, rah, rah. You know, just because the difference is when you get to that demigod level, soul level, nothing affects you the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So you get that phone call, and it would have been an inconvenience, but it would have been, oh, all right, I'll take care of it.
Oh, yeah,
Am I really going to care about it tomorrow? That's the way I look at it.
I get a lot of flake with the universal love part. Like, I am always playing devil's advocate, even for the worst kinds of people. And everyone just looks at me funny, like, how can you, like, not hate them? I'm just like
there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. I'm like, why
and you're
are
like, you don't see it?
Yeah,
you
like,
just don't see it.
Why are you playing judge and executioner? Why are you being a savage?
Yeah, exactly.
But you're calling me the savage. You're
right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But then later on, as you absorb it and the rest of your day goes smoothly, you're like, okay. I'm like, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to roll over and play dead for people anymore. I'm tired of people taking advantage of me. This is my household, and I'm going to set the boundary. They need to learn how to schedule things more effectively. I was just going off, It's like,
and I'm like,
later on, none of it frickin' matters.
No.
And so the rest of the days, the rest of that day and the next day unfolded in such a way that there were those moments, and I totally flipped how I look at it. Oh, they're coming.
And you were exposing me to that energy. I have to sit here and be exposed to it.
Yeah.
And I have to go numb because I don't want it to affect me.
Right.
But yet you needed to vent.
Yeah. So. Yeah. But then there was something that came up today, right? I'm sitting here, I'm drinking my coffee, my eyes are like, and I'm waking up for the day, and I get this message. Bing! Would it be okay if they come by between, 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock for the termite inspection? I'm sitting here and I'm going, when? Now? She comes back and goes, oh, I'm sorry. No, I meant Tuesday. But I just sat there and I was like, when is she talking about? Here we go again, right? But no, I didn't go there. I just took in a deep breath. I said, from a higher perspective. Okay, sure. When? And she said, oh, I'm sorry. I meant Tuesday, not now. I said, oh, okay, yeah, sure, Tuesday. But see, now, the other day, I would have gone off about it. I would have been like, are you out of your mind?
What does that get you? What does it do for you? What does it do?
I leaned back, I looked up at the sky, and I said, whatever, okay, so what time is it? Okay, so here we go again. But no, I'm just going to, whatever it takes, I will leave, and I will do what they asked me to do. I'm just going to do it because that's what's going to get me to my goal.
There you go.
Sooner.
Yep. So
if I don't think of it as a negative thing, it won't be a friction or a roadblock.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm like, instead, it's whatever it takes. Even if it's an inconvenience or they're stupid. Right. I didn't even go that far.
You have a choice on how you're going to respond to any situation or anything that's going on. Yeah, that's true.
But you transmute it to the energy to the extent that so everything follows in order that day.
Yep.
Because you didn't let it get you.
Yeah.
Get you. You rose above it.
Right.
And you went, okay. And you released any kind of negativity about it and just took it for like it is.
Right.
What it is, and you
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So. Yeah, but I'm glad having gone through it the previous day. Like they say, everything happens for a reason, so you know what you do want and what you don't want, and you see the. You just bring it into.
It's just an opportunity to look at yourself and be like,
Yeah.
"Is this really how I want my day to go? Is this really how I want to react?" You have a choice.
Yeah.
Use that higher mind.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, we're all human, so there's going to be
right, and it is the human side. But you know, I don't have to. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do.
Right.
So if I don't want to react that way, I'm not going to react that way. But I was just, Teresa, there's a better way. Do you really want to go that route, or would you just prefer to?
I don't know. I was awakened out of a sound sleep. I didn't really have time to process it. I was just.
But you did know they were coming, right? You knew the day before they were coming.
Yes, and I got things ready that you had to do. My ability,
right?
I did not burn myself out doing it because I knew I had 3 or 4 hours the next day to get ready.
Right. Anyway,
so I did about 50 or 60% of what I needed to do. But the bottom line is that I didn't do those last few things, and you know what? It didn't matter. So sometimes you think something's a big deal when it isn't.
Right. Yeah.
The way I see it, sometimes you gotta vent it out.
Venting is good. There's nothing wrong with venting, but
there is a point.
How far do you want to take the vent?
Yeah. There is a point where you gotta let go of it. I agree. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on.
All right. So next layer is the soul of gods. Again, it is rather difficult to explain this plane. It is mentioned to show that it is one of the ego phases within the sevenfold of man. It is latent in everyone, but can be witnessed in small flashes by a few. It is destined to be everyone's current state during the race's evolution. We're just not quite there yet. We'll get there. This form is the closest to sensing the eternal parent. Some advanced human souls are already manifesting this state of being. I've had a couple instances where, I say the one I remember most vividly was I was going through a group meditation in all my relations, right? And next thing I know, this giant dragon, like cosmic colored type of dragon, almost transparent. It looks like he was blended into the galaxy. Puts me on his back, and I was like, all right, let's go. I'm about to show you something. I'm like, all right, show me what you're going to show me. And then he showed me what looked like, the best I can describe is like the entire cosmos looked like an Aurora Borealis, like those shimmering waves. And it was all music. It was all playing music at the same time.
Vibration.
So, yeah, exactly. But it was like some type of natural music that was going along with it. I personally feel like he was showing me the egg, like the outer shell of the egg, of the entire cosmic egg. That's what it felt like to me. I thought that was pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So the summary to part 9 is the student should not mistake these as separate layers. That symbol is figurative, not literal. There is one self, these 7 veils going from the darkest night to the brightest day within man symbolically. Lesson is in every man is the potential of godhood. The wise man masters the lower instead of it controlling him while pursuing the higher until they reach it. And that's where I go into I show the symbolism behind what the chakras actually represent. The white light representing the oneness of the sevenfold, and then this multicolor showing all the layers within that sevenfold. So I think this was a good visual
That's very interesting.
Good representation of what the symbolism means.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And because they're layers, as humans, we might try to think about it linearly, like we do reincarnation as being linear. But it's an unfolding, and you see how they overlap each other? So sometimes you're in between or at one end or the other. Sometimes it folds back in on itself and then it progresses. There's days when I feel more like a demigod. There's days when I feel like an animal. You know?
Trust me, she's right.
So, shh, Lori. But no, this unfolding and the ability to go between
and to shift.
Bashar, when he's coming through Daryl Anka, has said on him numerous times. He'll tell people, you don't leave any one layer. It's all happening at one time. It's just that you have a perception as a human of this linear perspective of things. And so you think you have to go in a certain order all the time. But it's really more chaotic than that, because it's everywhere all at once. And so all these, you learn and communicate with different layers of your own beingness. So you have a conversation. I sat outside and had a conversation during my sun meditation. I had a conversation with Root, which is all these different layers. If you think about it, every being, every energy that I'm experiencing when I'm interacting with Root are from layers of our various aspects. And they're still in their own space having their own experience, but they've come in to communicate. So you can tap into all these different layers of your own soul. The difference is that each time you do this, you're gaining the awareness to the extent that you can bring it into your consciousness, now, and actually go double check yourself.
Instead of emotionally reacting, it's really easy to default to an emotional reaction than it is to control the emotion. That's the key right there. Yep.
Yeah. But if you could do that all the time and be in a constant state of knowing that all the time successfully, then you've advanced to a very high level of awareness within the unfolding of that level of your soul development.
Mastery.
Yeah, well, it feels like that.
To a degree, mastery, a type of.
And then all of a sudden, something whams you off your feet, and you realize you're not quite always there.
Yeah,
because
I'm not saying I don't get mad or at something or frustrated, but when I do, I quickly shift it. I'm able to quickly shift it
more quickly than you used to be able. That's absolutely what's happening to me. What used to take me weeks or days now takes me minutes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So the more, I guess the point I'm trying to make is the more you bring this into your awareness and the more that you consciously practice the understanding of how this works,
right,
then you have a chance to catch it either right before it happens or right as it's happening. You go, snap. Oh, snap. I almost went there. Oh, no, I didn't. And I've caught myself talking to other aspects of myself going, I know. Yeah, so you get better and better. You get more adept at it as you go through it.
True.
But you never leave any one layer. Because it's one. You're one soul.
Yeah.
Having all these experiences in these different, and each layer is slowly unveiling truths to you. If they all unfolded at the same time, your human side wouldn't be able to take it. You'd lose your mind.
Yeah, you'd fry your brain from a data dump of that caliber.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen to people. Yeah. All right, so let's go to the next part, which is part 10, the metempsychosis, which personally, in my opinion, is a really fun one. Rosicrucian teachings consider this a very important part of the lessons they give. Other words for this are transmigration and reincarnation. This is how the soul survives after death to eventually getting a new body. This concept has been taught everywhere around the world in every occult and religious faction. This reality is another way how we evolve as a race. They say rebirth is as normal as birth, and the facts lie in the huge amount who remembers past lives, even showing proof. So here are some things that you should note down and study. Teachers don't debate on this. They rather present the proof along with guiding the students with their intuition to reveal their own past lives. Egyptians, Western thinkers like Pythagoras, Virgil, Ovid, etc. taught it. Plato's teachings taught it. Hindu philosophy is based on it. Persian magi held implicity to it. Druids and the priests of Gaul taught it. Traces can be found in Aztecs, Peruvians, and other civs belonging to the New World. The Eleusinian mysteries of Greece, Roman mysteries of the temple, inner doctrine of the Kabbalah, Gnostics, Manichaeans,
Minutions?
thank you, and so on, all taught the doctrine of metapsychosis. Even if one didn't believe in it, they still hold great respect for the concept. Eventually, we'll get into these different teachings in greater detail in different episodes, but for now, this is to show the thing that is true that ties all of these beliefs together. So yeah, when I was looking up this one we were talking about earlier, like in the pregame, I was like, you'd be surprised, Teresa, how many religions and factions and everything actually are talking about the same thing, and it's called metapsychosis. They have different names for it in each culture, but ultimately it's the same thing.
Metapsychosis.
Yeah, metempsychosis, I believe.
Metem.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an interesting word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many different. I stumbled across the one for. If Sophia were here, she'd handle it beautifully. But I stumbled across the difference of the Norse and Viking idea of the layers of the soul like this.
Yeah.
They're just different. They see it as an individual pieces of themselves that they can disconnect from and send out into the universe in different ways. And they have different aspects having to do with their personality and their characteristics, or whether or not they're wealthy or successful. They can actually they detach that portion of their soul when they leave this earth, and they send that into someone else to inherit their good fortune, to inherit that part of themselves. Others are shapeshifters. They can detach a part of their layer of soul and send, and it's all about your looks and your characteristics and personality, and they can shapeshift and project that part of their soul into some other aspect for some other service work, and then come back and reattach to that soul, much like we do with thinking of ghosts. They're really not ghosts or spirits. They're part of that detached part of that soul that you send out on a mission, basically. So they see 4 layers of their own soul, and they detach them for different purposes. And they're closer to the early Egyptian understanding and concept of this unfolding or unveiling, if you will. But they see it as one soul, only one soul, not 7 different souls or 7 different, but they see that as a reason to detach and separate from an aspect of it to serve a purpose, and then bring it back in when they need it. So they don't see reincarnation the same way we do. They believe in inheriting things from other aspects of themselves into another emanation of themselves, but not necessarily a linear timeline. Yeah. So I just thought it was interesting. They're very different and very unique as to how they practice this. And theirs didn't go back to the Eastern tradition and the Sufism, but it did touch on overlap with some Egyptian thoughts on the same way of viewing soul life.
Real quick on it, I'd like to say good night to Brian. Brian's got to get some sleep, so he's signing.
Hi, Brian.
So have a good night,
Bye.
Brian.
Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
You too. Don't work too hard. Be safe.
Night,
You
night.
too. Night.
Bye-bye.
So anyway, I just thought it was different because it's different than all these other cultures, but I was looking for the common thread, and the common thread is the belief that there are multiple aspects of the soul, and how they unfold to reveal abilities that you can acquire as you work on your inner self and come to respect those aspects of your own soul journey. Then you can learn how to master the detachment of what's needed to detach at any given time. They can see animals in their dreams. They believe the animal aspect of their soul is their guardian. So they detach from a part of their soul, that guardian aspect, which is in an animal form, and appears to them in dreams and brings them messages, very much like our Indian medicine cards when we do the tarot. So nature teaches you so many things about yourself. And then when they see themselves as animals in the dream, they see that portion of their self reflecting back to them, a lesson to be learned. It's very connected to nature. And they see that as a guardian, because the guardian is looking after the rest of the soul, all the other components of the soul. And they're being guided very much like we are with our guardians, being guided to making better choices. But it takes on an animal form. That guardian will also let them know when their time is up. And how do they do that? They appear to them in a form of either being very bloody or damaged or broken in some way, bruised and bloody. So they know, that my end time is coming in this physical being. So the soul can prepare itself for what part it's going to detach to give to an inheritor in their bloodline that's going to inherit their good luck or their personality or traits. They can prepare for their own leaving. And we don't do that. We don't know when our number's up necessarily. Most of us leave according to our soul plan. We don't necessarily know what that soul plan is. Maybe we do when we reach certain higher levels of consciousness. I just haven't reached it yet, so I couldn't tell you my experience. I don't have the experience yet. I see death in other people. I can tell sometimes, not all the times, but I can usually tell, Sometimes I see a number, but sometimes I just see them as a pale, their aura is completely different. And I'm like, oh, that person hasn't got long for this world. And usually I'm right. But I don't go up to them and tell them that. It's just that I don't see it in myself. But they do have the ability. In the Norse tradition, they believe they had the ability to determine when their time was coming up to an end.
Yeah.
So that's different than any of these other cultures, but very similar understanding of the layers of. Only for them, it's not a layer; it's a fractal of their own self that they break apart and detach from.
They see the oneness in it and can utilize it like no different than an arm, or a leg.
Yeah,
use it as an appendage, essentially.
Isn't that a form of self-mastery?
I would say so. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So lucky or hard work. The book offers more examples. That goes into even more examples of people experiencing this phenomenon. They probably do this as an attempt to show physical proof, as one can't exactly present inner knowing revelations, since it is a mental in nature, not physical. If you ever see a child prodigy in something like math or chess, it isn't hitting the genetic lottery. They are people who practice these things in past lives and have a lot more experience than you do. This is why I say there's no such thing as pure talent. They just decided to put more work into a subject compared to many others. Mozart being a good example of this, creating and playing complex music as early as 4. And so I also have me as an example, and you get to know about me a little bit more. So me tapping into metaphysical abilities as young as 2, and the start of preaching and applying the occult as young as 13 is my personal example of having dedication in a field that spans longer than one lifetime. Also, my knack for tactics and style of intelligence also stems from being involved in military affairs in past lives. So being royalty in Atlantis and Lemuria, or any state for that matter, you get taught about war. I have also had confirmed lifetimes of being Secret Service, like CIA, and Black Ops style units led by Caesar. Even having a Vietnam lifetime where Jasmine was my commanding officer.
Wow.
Which is kind of funny to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she'd make a really good one.
Oh yeah, she could be. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But no, that these memories start coming back, and you start either seeing it through your dream visions or even a daydream, or just sitting there and having something flash by like a deja vu, and you're like, oh my God, And so you start paying attention to all those synchronicities, and you can find out. And Lori and I, man, we just started researching history on our own selves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We would have a flash or a shared experience, and we'd get enough information, work it through, jot down all the notes, and then go back out and research it and validate it. Some things can be validated like big time.
So that here's the cool part. So these past lives that I'm talking about, with me, this is an inner knowing, but I've actually had outside confirmation from multiple mediums who don't know each other.
Yeah.
Like Jim picking
Yes.
up on some of it. Yeah.
A good example being Jim, as he is a respected medium who can tap into
Absolutely.
people's lives and tell
Yes.
the tale. He's tapped into my CIA one and my Vietnam one with him. And someone from Chesterfield, another respected medium, also tapped into the Vietnam one. And supposedly she cleared up some karma between me and her during that lifetime, because apparently I was very rebellious.
Mm-hmm.
And she was always
I tapped into
keep me in line.
a lifetime with Jasmine in Rome.
Yeah. I believe that.
After Hadrian and Plotnia.
Yeah,
it was after that.
The Rome one specifically, I remember telling Caesar, do not let her know that I exist, because right now you're trying to keep her safe. If she knows I'm around again, she will not want to sit still in one area. So
yeah, I counseled her like an elderly. Yeah, and so there's times when you recognize other souls in this time that you were actually with in another time.
Or there's something very familiar about them, and you just like, do I know you from somewhere?
Well, it's interesting you mention that, because I did recognize her on the spot, because A, she was being an oracle again, just instead of Egypt, it was for Rome, and B, her eyes were golden, like bright golden, which was like confirmation, because she had the same eyes in Egypt, so I know exactly who that was.
Eyes are the window to the soul.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh my God, it's this kind of complicated right now that I'm dealing with."
Madame Blavatsky's the one that said that. That was a quote from her.
Yeah.
Madame Blavatsky. Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So yes, with this being said, if you are bad at something but you like doing it, you better keep working on it. Don't sell yourself short, because it might be new to you. Who knows how many times you've practiced it? Meanwhile, someone has been doing it for thousands of years, so it would be no wonder they could pick it up as early as a toddler. So don't let that discourage you. Keep working on it.
Right on.
So apply this to yourself. Stand in your own power. Rebirth isn't forced. On the contrary, you are attracted to rebirth due to unmet desires. This is starting to go into what you were referencing earlier.
Yeah.
You yourself pick certain environments to satisfy certain desires to acquire the indulgence, wisdom, and lessons. Some advanced souls, for example, so they can help the collective progress. Sometimes they just take a vacation in a different dimension of existing and wait it out, because they've gotten that privilege. They don't have to keep coming back to learn lessons. They've learned everything. They just come down here because something's attached to them here still. To view this as a punishment is a paradox, because you asked to be here. With that said, recall what you can, along with your interests, to make your inner fire go ablaze. This, oh man, is what you should be pursuing. You are not lost. You just don't remember yet. Do yourself a favor and start if you haven't. Again, I share my experiences to help everyone here get an idea on how to start or find another avenue to reach said goals, because this is very important on evolution.
You kind of set yourself up for certain situations, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. So you're being led into certain situations. Then you get through the situation or circumstance, and then you'll repeat that circumstance over and over and over. And then eventually you'll get tired of it and you'll want to change it. And that's why a lot of people make the same mistakes over and over and over and over, is because they haven't learned the lesson. And they're not ready or willing to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So character is the proof of past lives. Universal law explains you are attracted or repulsed by things, as we explained, like how atoms work. It's no different. The fact you are here learning the occult by me could very well be a physical representation of you being teachers, students, and peers of mine, and all the vice versa that you can put into that in the past. The fact I chose to start with the Rosicrucian doctrine, for example, means I was involved with them in some capacity. All of this is in accordance of the law of attraction, us having an affinity of enjoying the same things and what binds us together. The story will be worked out until the last chapter, so walk it off. It builds the character you are making for ascension. So yes, those struggles that you are going for, there's a reason why it's happening. Whatever type of avatar that you're trying to create at the end of all of this, it's necessary to build it. So
this cartoon you have behind you.
Oh, Calvin Hobbes. I love Calvin and Hobbes.
You got to read this. Why can't we get a snowblower? We must be the only family in the world that still shovels the driveway by hand. I'm freezing. His dad opens the door. It builds character. Keep at it. He's digging out the snow. Pretty convenient how every time I build character, he saves a couple $100. Point being, there is an investment to be made of your time and your energy if you so choose to make that investment. If you choose to do the inner work, if you choose to take the time to really think things through. And, you know, you're putting yourself through analysis without a psychiatrist. You're actually relying on those aspects of yourself to go deeper and deeper and deeper into why you make the choices you make. And so sometimes you can't answer your own question. And it takes another soul mate or a soul partner or friend in life to reflect back to you something you're just not seeing. You're not aware that it's there, or you haven't looked at it from that perspective. And so being part of a community like this really helps build character because you're letting them reflect back to you something you really need to see. And so if you have the courage to do that and the trust with them to do that, it's a good place to be. I imagine you and Jasmine reflect back to one another all the time. Things that you might not know or realize about your own self, and you accept it. You don't necessarily have to believe it, or you don't necessarily have to say, I agree 100%, but you can at least think about it because the people that you're in a relationship here in the now, in this now, are the ones that are your true soul connection for this transition. And so they're in your now. So they're the first person you think about in the morning. They're the last person you think about at night because you're focusing on that relationship because it's magnifying right now everything that you need to see in one another in order to be completely reintegrated during this time. And it lifts you from the lower planes, the lower mental states, into the higher mind mental state where you can achieve that ascension level to the next level of your soul development. And this is the time that all that's happening. And I think the Rosicrucians figured it out way early on in half of the, and this is they've been called secret teachings, but and there was a reason for it, but now we don't have that kind of fear.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can come out and just share what we're learning and what we're understanding to help build each other up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's helpful that people aren't having a Salem witch trial reaction to it.
Right,
So,
yeah.
Back then, that's how they would act. So that's
Yeah,
why
they had to keep it very quiet.
Yep.
But now that people are having so many experiences to where it's getting to a point where they can't deny it anymore. It could be talked about openly more.
Yeah.
Because instead of everyone going, oh, that's a bunch of hogwash, they're going, what is happening?
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's where people like us come in. Oh, we've been waiting for this.
Yes.
It's time.
Vindicated.
Right.
We're not crazy.
Back.
We're just tapped in.
Yeah. You thought I was crazy, but now
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Lost and afraid. Where did that lead you? Back to me.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
To thine own self be true.
Be true. Yes.
Yeah.
Life after death. So Rosicrucian teachings include detailed instructions on the life of the soul between incarnations, also known as the astral world, and similar subjects that can make their own lengthy books with how much intel it has.
Mm-hmm.
Here in this doctrine, Rosicrucians is given a generalization on info of the subject that is publicly allowed. So the astral plane, the elemental soul and the astral soul don't separate right away. It takes time. Only clairvoyance can detect it. So when a medium is seeing those spiritual bodies, that's what they're looking at. They're either looking at the elemental soul that is currently tethered to the astral soul still, kind of like with ghosts, for example, or they're seeing the astral soul doing things like astral project. And that's when you go into those secret military bases snooping around, and then they catch you because you're not supposed to be in there.
Yeah.
As one good example. It then goes to the astral plane, and the astral plane is not a place. It is a state of being.
Yes.
This astral body vibrates much higher than the material realm.
I think it's more dimensional, huh?
Yeah, they almost make their own pocket dimension.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yep.
They then go into a deep sleep to prepare for its next life.
A respite.
Yep.
I would say interdimensional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. While asleep, this pocket dimension is fully protected from all outside sources. Some sleep longer than others. I think Jim told me the average is 20 years, but some people can come back much quicker. Some people come back way longer. The more advanced the soul is, the longer the sleep between births coming back to Earth.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I see. I thought that was interesting too, because I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself.
Yeah, but Rosicrucians claim otherwise. So.
This sounds a lot like Christian teachings of when you die, you go to sleep in heaven at God's feet or Jesus's feet until you're awakened to come back again.
Yep. Like I said, every religion talks about it. They just have their own branding. So.
But they got rid of the rebirth part, being born again anew. They don't believe in any of that anymore.
Right.
No, the newer Christians, but this deep sleep. And I would have to say that based on my noetic experience of my own self, I disagree. This to me is the sleeping world.
Yep.
The illusion. And in my dreams, I'm in the reality, I'm home. And when I'm home, I'm very, very active. I'm not asleep. And I have other tasks in the afterlife that I perform and can perform and probably will, regardless of whether I come back into an illusion within the 3D reality of this world, of the Earth School. So I think this is a teaching that's been going on for a very long time, where they try to tell people your consciousness is sleeping. It's just that you've gone home to your true energetic state of being, which is at a much higher frequency than you are when you're anchored into the matter of 3D. And I don't think you're asleep at all. I think you're taking classes and courses and interacting with other souls, evaluating that Akashic record and learning what you need to learn for your next emanation. And it might even be a chance for respite to have some fun too.
Well, it's interesting you bring it up because that's literally the next panel. Let's get into it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Law of vibration, the police force of natural law. So this panel and the next panel goes into more what you're picking up on, Teresa. By fixed natural laws, it is rooted in its own plane and subplane. The soul is. The astral soul can visit planes beneath it, but not above it. To go higher, you must attain a higher resonance. That is the key. Through actions, mindset, and progress. That's why the malevolent
I believe
forces
that.
that be do their best to keep your vibrations low so they can continue to siphon you in each reincarnation. So, something very important to note. You want to ascend, literally get your vibes up. It's not a cop-out phrase. It holds a lot
Right.
more
Yeah.
truth than you'd realize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The happy place. So during this astral progression, the soul's astral plane, it creates an ideal environment within it. It self-reflects and takes stock of itself to create a better life than the last. It also gets guided by ascended masters as a therapy or assistance of how to progress and heal. Be it stay short or long, the feel of weariness becomes inevitable due to desire of the new or missing past loves. It continues on to the next stage of existing while applying what it learned in its previous life. It thus dies in the astral to come back to the physical to begin again. It awakens gradually, even after birth. An example being Jesus, how he didn't fully awaken until his 30s. He was still going through that progression. He wasn't fully awake yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it's referencing towards that type of maturing and evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Prodigies always show signs of awakening early. However, this can be dangerous sometimes, because the body might not be ready, might not be able to handle it. And then other people, Jim being a good example of this, tap into it later, finding newfound vitality in their 50s or so. Like from what Jim told me, he didn't start tapping into this stuff until like late 40s, early 50s when he became a full medium. So yeah. So some people bloom earlier, some people bloom later.
Mm-hmm.
Some
Just
are right
depends
on
on
time.
what the soul wants or what they're working on.
Yep, depends on whatever your plan was
Your
during
soul,
your time in
your
the
soul
astral
plan.
plane. Yep.
Rebirth.
Yep. You had it all planned out in that little astral plane, having help with the ascended masters and anyone who was allowed to come into that realm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I still have the sense or the knowing on number 2, it reflects on its past to improve its future life, is a meeting of the minds, a meeting of all the aspects of itself, its higher self, its it's a team meeting that takes place I've seen it where you're working on what worked, what didn't work, what felt right, what didn't feel right. Did I feel like I completed this goal? No, I think I missed that objective totally. It's a big negotiation between different aspects of your own layers of your soul being and all of the other energies that you've worked with on this journey. And instead of saying that it dies out, it recharges and comes back with a mission to be successful. So it leaves the astral and makes a conscious free will choice to return to keep playing the game or experiencing the illusion until it learns and passes its initiations. It's not punishing itself. It's not being sent back here by anyone or anything. It's not trapped on a prison planet. It's just making the decision, hey, I want to continue on this journey because there's some things I overlooked or didn't work out right. I built up karma. I don't feel completely cleansed. I don't feel I've integrated all aspects of the soul, aspects that I need to reintegrate to move on to my next choice. And so it sends itself back here on purpose through consultation of higher versions of its own self and other aspects of other souls that it's integrated with or merged with on its journey. Sometimes there's a group of them that agree together to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you tapped in?
Okay,
right
this
now,
time you, huh?
Are you tapped in right now?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I was about to say because it started to creep me out a little. you're literally going over slides before I show them, and I haven't shown you this at all.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, I'm not sorry. I'm
You're picking up on
listening.
it. That's
I'm
all.
listening to spirit, and spirits.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, you're just having some foresight moments. It's cool. So being attached to the material world means you haven't fully let go. If you are stuck on the material realm, it's because you are not done with it. You're not satisfied.
Okay.
Yeah. You may be tired of this life, for instance, but not the material realm altogether. To ascend is to realize how temporary the material realm actually is in the grander scheme of things. This, however, in most cases, takes many lifetimes to acknowledge. Give someone riches, glory, love, good food, plenty of sex, other material luxuries, and almost everyone would want to partake, and they will decide to come back. Oh yeah, maybe life isn't so bad. Yeah, let me have some of that. Is how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Desire is the seed of action. Desire always wants to do, be, and obtain. Even love is a desire. Even unselfish reasons, like helping others, here keep you coming back. If a soul wants to go somewhere else that is not earth, it shall be. It is their choice alone. Many souls are preparing to ascend during this end cycle and will no longer be part of earth, but something higher than this state of being. So what I can say with all of this is to enjoy that ride. And this concludes part 4.
Well done.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Love it. I love it. You know, I think you deserve a hand, Nick.
Yeah.
There you go. Good job.
That was
Yeah.
fun. Thank you.
It
Thank you.
you know, this whole series is very deep, and there's a lot to it and many layers, but it really does kind of explain the layers of life and the spiritual part of who you are, as well as your physical, how deep everything really goes. And on the surface, you're just here living a life going, okay, I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to have coffee, I'm going to start my car, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to do all the things I have to do. And you're so focused on that you don't get the other stuff.
Yep.
You just don't see the other.
I was becoming self-aware of this. I'm like, man, I'm doing this 9-to-5 BS and it's draining me. I'm not having time to do stuff like this. I need to figure out how to balance it out. So, just one thing led to another. I was like, all right, time for a change. Get a reset going. So I have a little bit downtime, work on this.
Yeah.
And then after this, I can start working again some more. Probably going to go for something part-time so I can keep doing this. It'll just be a little slower than what it's been going. Yeah.
But at least you'll be happy in what you're doing, and you'll feel more fulfilled in it. You know what you want now. You know exactly what you don't want.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
What I like is the way you consolidate everything. I haven't had the time this past week to go through the book and to listen to the book, and so a lot of it was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
But I just like the way you work out the graphics and support things from a different perspective. You bring a fresh perspective to things. So you're touching on an ancient knowledge, but you're expressing
putting a Nick spin on it.
Right. Yeah.
With a Nick spin in your own experiences, and that's the best way to for anyone to be on a journey like this. If you'd see what Nick has done here, and you were to get the book and even the video, the book on audio, when you go through that, one whole section takes an hour.
Yeah.
It's a lot to absorb.
Yeah.
Really get into it. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that, because when Sophia first met me, all she saw was a bunch of books hovering around me. So she intuitively picked up on like how much wisdom I had.
Knowledge keeper.
Yeah.
Knowledge searcher.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
But it's a lot, and so he's managed to get it down into a 2-hour program, 2 whole sections. I mean,
Yeah.
each section could be an hour to 2 hours in of itself, especially if you want to absorb the material and you're not just reading it.
Right.
But you got to go back and rethink things and ask yourself questions. And
Oh yeah.
And,
Oh yeah.
you know, a
On my,
lot
on
of
my
this
personal
is
time, yeah.
a
Yeah,
lot of
I've
this
read
is
more
stuff
once.
that we have addressed just in a different way,
Right.
yeah,
just a different perspective. So it's very fascinating to me to learn about that this was going on for so long, and it's
yeah,
been handed down, you know, time after time after time.
through various cultures, various practices, not just
Yeah,
Rosicrucians.
right.
Rosicrucians, where I think the modern Rosicrucians have gone back to what they believe to be part of their order that has gone all the way back to Atlantis. And but when you look at other cultures and practices on whether it's Eastern or Western thought, they've all taken that same journey. It doesn't mean they were from the Rosicrucian order, but it means that they were all the humanity's consciousness has been pretty darn consistent about this particular teaching. And it's what everything else is based off of. There's offshoots of it. There's religions based on it, which have completely changed and distorted the message.
Yep.
They've taken aspects of it to their own purpose. But for freedom, if you really want to be a free spirit and you really want to move on and you really don't want to feel trapped or have the thought or feeling of being trapped, the most freeing thing that you can possibly do is open yourself up to the understandings and then let your soul tell you what resonates and what doesn't. Not any other practices or ritualized beliefs or any one particular order for that matter. But the beauty of the Rosicrucians is that they've managed to hold on to the best parts of every other tradition. So whether it be Gnosticism, the Sufi, Buddha, the Egyptian teachings, they've pulled it all together and compacted it into the knowledge base of truth that's gone all the way back to the earliest possible understandings of the beginning of time itself.
Yep.
Have something like that, folks. There's got to be something to it.
And you also got to remember, they learned from the Eastern Hemisphere. Rosicrucians did. So it's even older than Rosicrucians, because it didn't even get founded until the Western organization that made it learned on the Eastern side of things. So it really shows you how deep it goes. And that's just one slice of the puzzle. Like the Western version had their own version of how to do things. So,
and people will say to you, how do you know that it isn't in writing? Well, yes, it is if you look at if you look at numbers and symbols like a language.
Yep.
Then it has been recorded
universal.
even as ancient Sumeria.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you let go of prejudice, of different cultures and belief systems, you can see and discern the correlations that everyone has with what they're talking about with the same story. It's literally the same thing. They just have different names for it, different personas.
Right.
But one thing about ascension is anything is possible. When you quickly learn and realize that anything is possible and that everything you ever thought was real in your life turns out it's not, that's mind-blowing. But keep that in the back of your head. Anything is possible. It truly, truly is.
Yep.
It's not bullshit. It's true. It ain't woo-woo, it's true.
It ain't woo-woo, it's true. Oh man, that would be a great way to end the show. Just understand that as the earth has evolved and as human societies have evolved and changed, there were times when we allowed ourselves to get further and further away from the most truest, purest form of thought and understanding. And that is that you are all that you are, and then some. And that all these other teachings and all these other groups that came in and tried to vary the flavor twisted in such a way to their own purposes, were doing it because they either couldn't grasp it or didn't want to. Made a soul choice, made a free will choice not to. And so therefore, it works to their advantage to pull you into their energy so they can utilize your energy
Yep.
to empower themselves in other ways.
Yep. They have reached the false conclusion of saying that, oh, I need this amount of resources, also known as human souls, to ascend to godhood. That's not how it works.
Mhm.
That's right.
It's
You're
on
the
an
same.
individual level
Mm-hmm.
basis.
Yep.
So by closing
You,
yourself off, you're
Mhm.
not going, you're feeding them the energy
yeah.
that you need yourself.
And you stay in the cycle and you continue to come back and keep doing
Yeah.
it over and over and over instead of each year, just like a car, a model of a car where
Yeah.
you're driving that model of the car and next year it comes out and it's improved, it's new and improved.
Yes.
That's what you're hoping to do each lifetime
Yep.
to the point where you reach the graduation aspects of it. And
Right.
then you're able to move on to whatever else you want to do. But that's what the Earth School is about.
Yep.
Getting through all those lessons, coming out the other side, and moving on to something bigger and better. And then once you
Right.
master that, you continue to that to an infinite degree.
Yep.
And then
I
if
highly
you do it
recommend-
right, you return to the God source.
Yeah, I highly recommend to stop sponsoring wolves in sheep's clothing and start sponsoring yourself.
Yep.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
That's
Right
exactly
on.
what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
Right on.
Recognize that power within your own self, that divinity within yourself, and be good
Yep.
to yourself and give yourself time to
Yeah.
really study this and absorb it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because you got infinity to learn it all. You can take
Yeah.
as much time as you need. It's all good. There's no rush.
No.
Yeah. No. Listen, everyone, thank you so much for joining us this week. We really appreciate you. This episode will be in the playlist for you as soon as the video is done. We just hope that everybody has a great weekend. Thanks for popping in and spending some time with us. Nick, thank you for all the extra work, energy, time and energy that you put into it. We sure do miss Jasmine. And
Oh, yeah.
we're missing Sophia. I'm missing seeing everybody.
Yeah.
But this really is important, and I'm glad that you're the one that's helping bringing it to everyone. So thank you so much for your time, energy, your love, and your knowledge.
And thank you for giving me a platform to speak on it. Next week will be about the soul's progress and the aura colors.
Okay.
So
Looking forward to that.
yeah, we get to see
Awesome.
some more of the woo-woo aspects rather than just the lecturing. So it's always fun.
I love it. And by the way, Jamie Butler is the one that coined that phrase. It's
Oh,
not
yeah?
woo-woo, it's true. So
Oh,
yeah, I can't take credit for that, but I love it and I love saying it.
well, from what I've learned, the Delulu are some of the most powerful people around. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
They're no
Oh,
different
yeah.
than the concept of cathodes, where they'll just take in a bunch of aspects and then spew out
Yeah.
something completely different. That would be
Mhm.
reality bending. So delusional isn't always a bad thing.
Yeah,
They're just creating a different reality that no one's used to yet.
exactly.
So
All right, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much. Love you all. Peace.
Bye. Thanks, Nick.
Yep.
Love you.
yep.